Hey guys, Nathan here, 24 Chambers of Film. Going to be doing a movie review on A Family Affair. Stars Zac Efron, Nicole Kidman, Joey King, Kathy Bates. It's a rom com on Netflix. It was released about a week ago. It is about an actor who falls in love with his assistant's mom. Zac Efron plays the actor. Joey King plays the assistant. Nicole Kidman plays the mom. Now, before we get into the actual movie, there's been a lot of talk about this movie online, specifically on how Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron look. A lot of people talking about plastic surgery, Botox, things like that. When it comes to Zac Efron, I didn't notice a difference. The guy looks like he does in the last few movies I've seen, The Iron Claw, Ricky Stenicki, The World's Greatest Beer Run. Kind of still looks the same to me, so I'm not sure what they're talking about with him. With Nicole Kidman, there is times in the movie where she looks not good, and there's times where she looks fine how you would expect. Is this plastic surgery? I don't think so. I think what it is that they try to do some de-aging or some type of alteration, digital alteration in the movie, and it just doesn't look good when they did it. As we've seen in the past, that either it looks really good or it doesn't look great sometimes. And I think that's potentially what happened here because in some scenes you can tell there's something off, like that they try to do something, and then other scenes she looks fine, she looks normal. She looks like what you would see when you look up pictures on the internet, which of course could be Photoshop maybe, but at the end she looks what I would say is normal. But in some scenes she doesn't. She looks very off. And again, I think it's because of this whatever they try to do with editing techniques that caused this. So again, don't know if she had plastic surgery, but I think a lot of people going in on it are assuming she did, and it could very well be just some bad digital effects, digital de-aging that they tried and it just didn't work right. Now, as far as the movie goes, it's a rom-com. It's a PG-13 rom-com. I personally prefer, our rom-coms, get a little raunchier and things like that. But as a movie, let me tell you, before I get into that, spoilers ahead. So if you don't want to get the movie spoiled for you and you want to watch it first, go back and do that, then come back and let me know what you guys thought in the comments. So the movie itself, the concept, I don't think it's anything new. Um, I think it started off strong. I think first off, let me say Joey King, she played the character Zara Ford, did a great job with her acting. She did a phenomenal job. She went through a gamut of emotions in that movie, and I like the way that they set her character up. She's essentially Nicole Kidman is a writer. You could tell, they're wealthy and they live in LA, they're wealthy. Her dad, who had passed away, was a writer as well. And she's I think 24 they mentioned, and she's just trying to kind of find her way through her career. And she works for Chris Cole, who is Zac Efron, who's is an actor, and he has this movie franchise that he's going to be making, I think, the fourth installment for. And she's constantly trying to help him. Like she genuinely cares about helping him, and he takes her for granted. He is the what Zac Efron normally plays in movies, which is like the lovable dummy. He's a man child essentially. And there's some good scenes setting up the relationship very early on. In the very beginning of the movie, Zac Efron, it looks like he's trying to propose to a girl, and she's running behind with the what is presumed to be the ring. Turns out that the ring is actually a pair of earrings that he's giving to the girl because he's breaking up with her, something that he does all the time. And there's a scene where they are having some back and forth in the grocery store because he's such a famous actor, he can't do his own shopping, right? And they start talking about how crazy the Oreo flavors have gotten and things like that. And it's just a scene that works. It works helping set up the characters. Then what happens is he ends up firing her for because she didn't show up on time to his house when he wanted to, and she was talking to a friend who they were trying to get to rewrite his script, which he's having some issues with for the upcoming movie. So and this is probably the whole setup probably takes about like the first 30 minutes of the movie, and eventually he ends up going to her house. Realize well he fires her, but she ends up quitting. So he realizes that he needs her. He goes to the house to try to reconcile with her, and Nicole Kidman is there, and Joey King's character is not there. They end up hooking up. Like there really is no setup for them getting together. They just hook up, which I personally had a problem with because to me it doesn't garner any favors for Nicole Kidman's character, right? It's like this man fired your daughter. Your daughter has some issues with him, and then he shows up, and then you know you just start hooking up with the guy. It just seemed very weird. I would have personally thought it would have been better if they met under different circumstances, fell for each other, and then they didn't know who one another were. That he used to be Joey King's boss, and that Nicole Kidman was Joey King's mother, right? So immediately they start hooking up. They go to the bedroom, and then she walks in on them. That causes a big commotion. He says, "Hey, I was coming to, just give you your job back. Want you to be, want you to continue to work with me." She ends up agreeing, but basically tells him like, "You guys can't be hooking up anymore," which they agree to. But of course, they don't listen to, and they keep sneaking out and seeing each other. And meanwhile, there's a kind of a sub story going on, which really more helps set up how Joey King's character Zara kind of makes everything about her. So she has a friend named Eugenie, who's played by Liza Koshy, and she is meeting her boyfriend's parents, and she doesn't think the meeting goes well. So eventually, what happens is Joey King catches them still seeing each other, right? Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman, and then she goes and moves and stays with her friend. And anyone paying attention to the movie at that point realizes that whatever's going on with the friend and her boyfriend is like more serious. But every time it comes up, Joey King's character makes it about her, and it comes off a few times that she's a somewhat of a know-it-all as well, even though she's not very experienced. She kind of, I don't know, almost humbly like tries to act like she knows it all. Uh, so obviously there's a big fight between them. There's actually a very good scene when she catches him where Joey King's character is upset and Nicole Kidman tells her, "I haven't felt anything like this since your father." And her reaction, Joey King's reaction, great job, reacting to that. Obviously most people would probably be upset in that scenario because it's someone that they don't like being compared to their deceased father. And she did a very, very good job on that. Later in the movie, what happens is they go to Christmas, and Kathy Bates is Nicole Kidman's mother-in-law, Joey King's grandma, and she talks to Joey King, who then just randomly decides to give Zac Efron a chance, which I felt at this point, like I said, the first 30 minutes of the movie were going okay, and then it just starts like getting rushed and just nonsense starts happening. Like I said, the way that they hooked up. Then all of a sudden she's so upset, her grandma talks to her, and then boom, it's all essentially fixed, right? Then when they're about to leave Christmas, she sees Zac Efron's bag and sees a pair of earrings in there, just like what in the beginning of the movie she gave to Zac Efron so he could break up with that girl. So she assumes that he's going to break up with her mother. Then what happens is when they get back home, she calls him out on it and then starts kind of predicting what Zac Efron has done to make to kinda get Nicole Kidman's character to fall in love with him, and it's stuff that he does with other women, other girls, and they basically separate at that point. Then the moment of truth comes for Joey King when she is trying to talk to her friend, who's played again by Liza Koshy, and she's like, "Where's your boyfriend?" And she goes, We broke up, and you've been making everything about yourself," and that kinda turns into an argument between them, and it kinda shows the how her character, has not necessarily been selfish, but just not aware of everything goes on because she's so absorbed in her own little bubble and what's going on with her. And I think that kind of helps her realize like she's not looking out for anyone. She thinks she's looking out for her mom, but kind of just being selfish. Eventually, everything ends up working out. Everyone ends up, getting along. Cole Kidman, Zac Efron end up together. Joey King ends up, advancing through Zac Efron's, uh, you know, company, and basically seems like at the end, like almost like they're, you know, partners essentially in managing his company and all that kind of stuff. And it just ends, everything's good, what you would expect. And it just doesn't work for me. It did not work. Like I said, it started off very, very good in my opinion. I'd say the first 30 minutes are solid. And then it just quickly went off the rails with the way that they made him meet, with then how fast everything was moving and how quick Joey King's opinion was changed from what it previously was about this whole situation. I just thought it didn't work. I thought that I don't know. I don't know if they ran out of time. I don't know what it was. I thought the concept was essentially good. The actors they did fine. Again, Joey King, great job. But other than that, then I thought it just kind of just didn't work for me. I was committed for the first 30 minutes. I was like, okay, this is a lot of crap this is getting, but it's not that online, but it's not that bad. And then just went off the rails. So overall, as a movie, like I'd give this a 5 out of 10, 5.0, 5 point, maybe let's be generous, give it a 5.2, okay, out of 10. And if someone were to tell me, hey, I'm in the mood for a rom com, I probably wouldn't suggest this movie, honestly. If you like Zac Efron, watch it. If you like Nicole Kidman, watch it. If you like Joey King, watch it. If you're looking for a good rom-com, I think there's plenty of other options out there. If you're just looking to kill time and you need a movie that you haven't seen, go ahead, watch it. I wouldn't tell you not to watch it, but I don't think you're gonna like it. Let me put it that way. I definitely think it's one of those movies that started off strong and just faded fast. Once it started fading, it faded fast. Although there was some good acting, especially from Zoe King. Her and her friend really were the 2 highlights when it came to acting. I think they did a very good job. But yeah, just it's one that you can skip, honestly. Like, if this had gone to like, if this was in theaters right now, I'd definitely tell you to stay away from that. It's on Netflix. You don't if you have Netflix, doesn't cost you anything to watch it, right, aside from your monthly subscription. But yeah, other than that, I would just say steer clear of it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of another movie that I could compare it to that I not really but it's kind of hard. You know what? Actually, let me make a quick comparison. This is what I wish would have happened more. Like if you think about the movie Crazy Stupid Love, right? Steve Carell and Emma Stone, right? They are father and daughter. Steve Carell meets Ryan Gosling's character, who teaches him how to basically pick up chicks and all that, becomes friends with him. Then separately, he meets Emma Stone and they start getting together. And neither she doesn't know that he knows her dad. He doesn't know that
Nana!
that's
Hi,
his daughter, his
guys!
friend's
Hi,
daughter.
sweetheart.
So when
Hi.
they find
What's
out,
going on?
like
Oh,
that's a
I don't
funny
know.
scene
Some
when they
game you won't
get
let me
together
take
and they
this dumb
find out,
blindfold off.
and he's
Ciao.
super against it.
What are you
But it
doing here?
showed like they
What
didn't
are you
know,
doing
right?
here?
Like it doesn't work for me. The fact that Zac Efron's character, it kind of works because they paint him off as just being like kind of douchey, right? But that's supposed to be Zoe King. Nicole Kidman's supposed to be Zoe King's mother. So for her to just hook up with him, kind of just you don't feel bad for her when she's getting criticized by Zoe King's character and when she's so against it because they make it seem like Zac Efron isn't the greatest boss. So it's just very hard to say to kind of get on Nicole Kidman and their side. I was hoping the whole time that Joey King's character was gonna basically make them break up and stay that way. Whereas in something like Crazy Stupid Love, it's you can't really be mad at anybody or you can't really pick a side because no side is intentionally trying to hurt or not. No side was aware of all the circumstances when basically they liked each other, they became friends. That's his daughter, so it makes it difficult. Here, your question is, why is she hooking up with this guy? Like, especially, like, after meeting him for, like, 20 minutes. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I think that was probably one of the biggest faults in the movie, that the story just kinda seemed silly in that sense, and then as they go on, like I said, Joey King just kind of accepts it then doesn't accept it, then accepts it again very fast. But yeah, I'd stay steer clear, not steer clear, but I wouldn't go out of my way to watch this if I were you. I said at 5.2 could have been worse, could have been a lot better. I just think if you watch it, you're basically gonna say, not doing much for, an hour, 40 minutes or whatever the runtime is, which actually let me check on what the runtime is on this. An hour 51 minutes. So you're not gonna be you're not gonna feel like maybe you wasted your hour and 51 minutes, but there's better things you can do with your hour and 51 minutes, that's for sure. Or better movies you can watch, 100% for sure. So thanks again for watching. That was the movie review for A Family Affair. Let us know what you thought in the comments. We'll be back with some more movie reviews, other videos, trailer reactions this week. Do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe so you can stay up to date with our content. We really appreciate it. And till next time.